Okay, so recently, as I started my AI agency, there's been two main things that I realized, which I really want to cover in this video because you have to master them if you want to make a shit ton of money online. All right. If you don't know who I am, by the way, I'll give you a quick little brief of my past and experience so you actually know this video is legit. It's not just some BS you write down in ChatGPT. I'm actually talking about real life experiences that I've gone through so you can actually avoid the same mistakes that I've been through earlier. So, quickly, just to give you a little bit of a breakdown, I was broke as fuck. I started basically a 9 to 5 in sales. Didn't really make a lot of money in a 9 to 5, as you can probably tell or know, whatever. Got into like a sales manager position, whatever. Just grinded away 9 to 5 for like 5 years. And I realized I was like, holy shit, spending so much time making barely any money. I'm in the same place, same city, same everything. Had a fucking quick realization. I was just like, dude, I have to change. So I was like, okay, let's fuck that. Quit the 9 to 5, started doing high ticket sales, finally made like 10, 20, 30K months and built up a bunch of capital. But then what I realized, I was like, fuck, I don't want to be making all this money for somebody else because if you guys don't know, when you're in high ticket sales, you're making, let's just say you're making 30K a month yourself, right? Take home. You're making somebody else $300,000 that month and you're just left with 30. So you've made somebody basically like 270K after your cut of it, which is basically like just peanuts compared to what you've made them because it's only 10%, right? So I got super tired of seeing all this money being made for all these offer owners while I wasn't like still 30K is a lot of money, but it's like, dude, I want to be the guy making the 300K instead of 30K, right? So I was like, fuck this, let me use the sales experience that I have and we're going to run up and something around AI. Why? Because AI is super hot, it's here to stay, businesses need it, so on and so on. So after starting my AI agency, there's been two main things that I've really realized, which I want to share with you guys because you have to kind of master these skill sets or you kind of need to know about them if you even want to make the serious amounts of money online nowadays. So first things first, obviously, like if you're not making money online, it's like, dude, come on. Their opportunities are endless. You have to do something about it. The only reason why you would like work a 9 to 5 physically working is just to work up some capital that you can use to invest into whatever online business that you have. That's just the first thing. But that's not what I'm talking about. I just want to clarify that before we kind of go into things. So, one of the main things that I've realized is first of all, when you're running your own business, you have to understand how to get attention and you have to understand how to convert this attention into actual buying customers, right? Which is the first part. And that kind of ties into the second part, which is going to be you have to be able to have, or you have to build up trust with the attention that you're getting. Those are probably the two main things that are going to get you more clients, that are going to get you more money essentially. So you're probably wondering like, okay, but how do I master these things? What do you mean? Like, of course, trust, whatever. This is all just basic shit. Yeah, but let me explain and you'll understand what I mean. So, first things first, once we started our AI agency, I was just in the mindset of being like, oh, I have this crazy sales skill set. I'll just get a bunch of sales calls and close clients. And sure, that works to some extent, but if you really want to scale up and make over $100,000, like that's all cool and all to like 30K. But what really matters when you're actually scaling and wanting to make serious amounts of money is not just the fact of, yeah, I know how to sell, but you have to be able to manage teams, you have to be able to run proper marketing. But like I said, the main thing is you have to be able to get attention because without the attention, the traffic or whatever, you don't really have too much leverage or anything to go off of. The reason why is because, yeah, you might have a crazy sales skill set, or you might have a crazy developer and you know everything about AI and so on and so on. However, that's not going to help you at all because you have nobody to sell this to. Our main problem was like, dude, we can't really get too much attention in the beginning phases because like I was just like sitting there being, yo, give me a chance to like close somebody. Just give me a chance for somebody to show up on a call. Give me a chance to be able to have a sales call. But you're never going to get that chance unless you actually know how to get the attention in the first place. and then being able to convert that attention into trust, which is then eventually going to get you a client, right? So most people tend to overcomplicate this, and the reason why is because whenever somebody's starting an AI agency or just AI in general, everybody's out there trying to be a developer or know this about AI, know that about AI, XYZ. And I'm just here to tell you, like, the number one thing you need to understand is that shit does not matter whatsoever. What I mean is, like, dude, a business, a service-based business, somebody you're helping implement AI into, they don't give a shit about AI. That's just like the hands down thing. Like, they really don't care about AI. What they care about is the same thing that you should care about, and that is making more money. A service-based business, a clinic, whatever it might be, they're never going to care about, yo, let's implement AI into this thing. Like, they know AI is the future. They know AI is important. They know these things, but they don't give a shit about AI. What they care about is, this AI going to make me more money? And if the answer is yes, then it's obviously a good thing to do. If the answer is no, then why the fuck would they waste their time, even if it's AI, right? So you have to understand that to be able to get this attention from them, what drives the right traffic, if you're running ads, if you're doing these things, it's like, it's not the AI itself. It's what result can you give them? Can you give them a tangible, real result that can be measured in some sort of way? The best way to do it is that most people tend to just like throw out offers out there, just being like, oh, we'll do this automation for you, that automation for you, we'll save this amount of time. Like, dude, nobody cares. How much money are you going to make them in XYZ amount of time? Like, that's what they really care about. So structure your offer moving forward so it's actually properly set up. Do something like, we'll get you XYZ, or we'll get you X amount of customers in Y amount of days, right? So as an example, you can do, oh, we'll get your clinic 150 new patients in the next 90 days, or you don't pay us. That's attention right there. That's real tangible results. That's what a business is actually going to care about. If you're just throwing out Hail Marys and just a bunch of random ass things, you're never going to get any attention out of it, and it's never really going to convert into clients anyway. So if you're just in your starting phases, that's the number one thing you should actually understand is, how do I get that attention? Well, by curating a proper offer. The second thing is, how do you actually build that trust into, or from attention into actual customers? And there's a couple of different ways to do this, but in my experience, obviously, like, if you've built enough trust to actually get somebody's information and to have them on a call, well, to build up that trust is obviously just to show proof, but also make sure you show that yourself as a real human, like human being. Because most people, when they think about AI, everybody's trying to optimize everything around AI. And you should optimize and use AI to some sort of extent, but the human connection is really what's going to separate you from the rest of the people, as long as you're a stand-up guy, right? Because that's the thing that's going to build you trust in the long term. If somebody is jumping on a call with you and they can tell that you're a legit dude, you actually care about them, you're not just here for their money or whatever, that's going to build trust, right? So the sales process has to be dialed in. If you don't know how to dial in the sales process, first of all, you kind of just have to just like detach yourself away from the sale. I know a lot of people, especially in this AI space, bro, it's like everybody's so freaking needy for the sale. Everybody's out here trying to get the close and trying to close every single guy and whatnot. But you genuinely have to detach yourself away from the sale and more so be like, okay, can we actually help this guy? Like, does AI even make sense in this type of business? Is it gonna make them more money? Because when you really break down the whole sales process in this B2B space, it is very, very simple. Most people tend to overcomplicate this, especially the B2C closers are trying to do all this pain and all this shit. And yeah, you have to build these things up, obviously, in your sales process. But at the end of the day, when it comes to B2B, dude, like, you really just have to make this make logical sense for them. If you implementing, let's just use an easy ass example, right? Let's just say you're talking to a business, they're missing 70% of their calls. If you can implement a AI receptionist that can take 100% of their calls, they don't have to take any of them, and they can book them into sales calls, then that's probably going to generate them more money. So let's just say your service costs like 5K for that AI receptionist. This is again just an example. And if that AI answers 100% of the calls, it's going to generate them X amount of calls, which is going to generate them, let's just say 30K a month extra just by having that implemented. That just logically makes sense, because if your thing costs 5,000 and they're going to make 30,000 out of that, which means in total they're profiting 25K by you just implementing that, there is no reason as to why they wouldn't do it, right? It just makes way more logical sense. So if you're a real human being, you know how to maximize AI and implement it into other businesses that don't have it implemented yet, and you do this efficiently and actually make logical sense for them, your trust is going to be there. Like there's no way they don't trust you, right? So you kind of have to be very upfront about it, and that's how things work, especially in the B2B space. I was closing a lot of B2C clients and there was so much pain, so much build up, so much of these things. And yeah, you still have to build some of that up in B2B as well. But things just make way more logical sense in B2B. And it's the number one thing that is like actually going to drive a sale. If things don't make logical sense, like these are already business owners, they're already making a bunch of money. They know how to make decisions. They've done it for countless of years, and they've gotten to a place where they're making a lot of money with the way they've made decisions so far. So they're probably going to make the decisions in the same type of way, right? So trying to do all these objection handling master classes and whatnot to get them to close on the call is probably just going to make them not want to buy from you, rather than actually just making things logical for them. And if it makes sense financially, it makes sense logically, they're just going to buy, dude. Like it's really that simple. So those are like the two main things that I've experienced and realized. Hope that helped. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.